Okay, so today's video is going to be a very interesting one. I'm going to rank the big four slasher remakes. I've never done this before, and quite honestly, this was much harder than I anticipated. We're talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, Friday the 13th 2009, and A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. I think time has been good to some of these movies and not so good to other movies. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to rank these, and honestly, this was a lot harder than I thought it really was, and seeing your guys' list in the comments is going to be extremely interesting, so let's get started. Coming in dead last at number 4 is going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween. No, I'm not the biggest hater of this movie. The dreaded thing Halloween fans always say, Rob Zombie destroyed the Halloween franchise. I don't think so. I mean, you may not enjoy the movie, but what do you mean by destroyed the franchise? Can you not go back and watch Halloween's 1, 2, Season of the Witch, Return of Michael Myers, you know? No, of course not. If anything, it's crazy that this franchise has gone on as long as it has. Now, that's not saying I think his Halloween is the greatest movie ever, because it's not. My problem with Rob Zombie's Halloween is he just took too much of a literal approach. He tried to make sense of everything, and you don't always need to have that happen in a horror movie. I think what's scary about horror movies is the questions we have, and the questions of what's going on. Sometimes that's scarier, not understanding. Not necessarily not knowing, but not understanding. We understand why Michael became the psychopathic monster. Maybe not how he got so tall, but we understand why he is. The kid came from a broken home. He had no hope. He had no choice. He had no chance. That's not scary to me. That's just kind of sad. Granted, some of the scenes in the movies were good, and I like the characters. I like Dr. Loomis in the movie. I liked who played Laurie Strode in the movie. That's all great, but Rob, I wish you would have taken a different approach. Coming in at number 3 is going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. Now, my problems with A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 are really none. I kind of like the movie, to be honest with you. As a matter of fact, the rest of these I really do enjoy. My issue with A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, though, was I think Jackie Earle Haley was maybe guided too much. I would have liked to have seen him be more open and do what he kind of felt like with the role. I think there was a lot of restrictiveness on his performance. At least it comes across that way, because he really just rides this really fine line with this low-pitched voice he has, and I would have liked to seen him explore a little bit more. I could be wrong, but that's the way it felt to me. I think the characters could have been a little bit more interesting in the remake. Nancy was good. I like that she was more of the quiet, drawn-in approach, and I can appreciate that, but give me a little bit more with the development of the character. I felt that there was a little bit left to be desired. Other than that, I still think the remake was pretty good. It was interesting that at first in the movie, you thought that Freddy was not a bad guy. He really was framed. But then when you find out at the end that he wasn't framed, it kind of gives a little bit more leverage at the end, so I kind of appreciate that, but there could have been a little bit more effort done with this remake that I think was left out. Okay, here we go. The number 2 and number 1. This was tough. I went back and forth on this, but I'm going to stick strong with it. Coming in at number 2 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's right. I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre's remake. As a matter of fact, I did a ranking of the Texas Chainsaw films, and it came in at number 2. I really, really liked the movie, and to be quite honest with you, I don't have a whole lot to say because I really don't have any complaints. So without further ado, my number 1, which could be a surprise to some, is Friday the 13th. 2009. And funny enough, I actually do have a concern about this one. Maybe not so much a complaint, and I've kind of loosened up over the years about this. I never saw Jason taking a prisoner, but I'm trying to understand the approach that the writers had with this aspect. Besides that, I think Friday the 13th, 2009 was the most fun remake of all of them. Jason is 100% a threat and a brutal force of nature. Derek Mears did a fantastic job as Jason, and the more I watch the movie, the more I enjoy it. What I really liked was the remake did not take itself so seriously with some of the characters. We loved seeing the goofy, pot-headed campers going out to the woods late at night, doing what late teenagers do, having Jason pick them off one by one. Sometimes it doesn't need to be more than that. They did have some good arcs between the characters, and I thought that was interesting, but it was the funny moments of the movie that I really loved so much. When they took the buddy's boat out, and then they go out and Jason hits the girl in the head and picks her up above the deck. That is sheer slasher gold. I love that movie, and I love some of those scenes. One of my friends that I met on YouTube, and we've since become friends online, Baldy Jack, we talk about this movie a couple times, and I think he would agree with me that I think the movie has aged better with time. I like the fact that Derek Mears took a no-nonsense approach with the character of Jason. He's not so heavy-breathing. He didn't try to replicate what Kane did. He was Derek Mears 100%. He was more brutal in a different way than Ted White or C.J. Graham or Richard Brooker. He has subtle differences, but it's the little nuances that give the characters the feel that are identifiable to that actor. And Derek Mears is up there. I think he's a fantastic Jason. My number 1 and number 2 are really tight, but I still think that Friday the 13th remake has aged really good, and I really do enjoy it, and it's a fun movie. Fun, F-U-N, at the end of the day, that's what the movie is. So that's my ranking of the big 4 slasher remakes. It was a long time coming, some time's gone by, and I think it's time. Cannot wait to see what you guys think. What is your ranking? What is your favorite of the 4? What is your least favorite of the 4? It's going to be interesting. Can't wait to see these comments below. As always, hit the bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Check the description for my Teespring and other great things like that, and we will see you guys in the next video.